Kentucky gets the job done 86-46 in their opener. And before we went to break, Matt, you were just talking about the performance of Reed Shepherd. What did he show you tonight? And is it a performance that could maybe be a precursor to one of these deep Kentucky runs we haven't had in a while?
Well, I think, first of all, he comes off the bench and he grabs 5 rebounds. He has 12 points off the bench. Just defensively, I think he changes the game a little bit. I think he's a willing defender. I think he takes pride in that. He wants to pick the ball up full court when he has opportunities. But I think the balance for Kentucky's team, putting 4 guys in double figures. Trey Mitchell goes for 9 and 9 and 5 assists, so almost 5 guys in double figures. I just thought the balance offensively for them, they just looked like the Kentucky of old, like Cal's teams. I thought DJ Wagner did some great things. I thought Edwards did some great things as just young players within their program that this team is going to grow and it's going to develop. I think the biggest question mark is, if they get Big Z back, if they get these 7-footers back, where are they going to play Trey Mitchell? Because when you play him at the 5 spot, he's such a mismatch problem because he can pick and pop and make threes. When you slide him over to the 4, like we talked about last week, what are we doing pick and roll coverage-wise? Because he just causes so many different problems at the 5 for teams when he's on offense because of his ability to pass. I mean, he was catching on the perimeter, ball faking, driving, dunking at the end of the game. But I thought those young guards showed a lot of development, and I was really, really impressed with them today.
Yeah, I
Mr. Dauster?
100% agree. Like we know how good those Kentucky guards have a chance to be, right? My question was never whether or not they had the talent. The question was, how well are a group of freshmen going to be able to adjust to playing college basketball in an era where you have 23, 24, 25, sometimes 26-year-olds on these other teams, right? And I think the early returns are fantastic. I love that Cal is leaning into playing pace and space, right? Like when was the last time you saw John Calipari run an offense that was 5 out with your 5-man Trey Mitchell basically doing all the DHOs, all the dribble handoffs, running offense through him, pulling him away from the rim. There for like the first 25 minutes of the game, there was literally nobody in the paint for Kentucky if they didn't drive there. And that is modern basketball. That is what you have to do to be able to win in this day and age. And I don't think I ever would have thought that we would see that from a John Calipari coach team, and we did. So that is something to monitor. Now, all that said, it's also New Mexico State. So I think we'll get a much better feel for what Kentucky's going to be next Tuesday when we see them in the Champions Classic. But it was impressive. And the last thing I want to note is that we talk about these guards, and they had 5 guards go for double figures tonight, right? We didn't even mention Robert Dillingham, 17 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. But Jordan Burks, a guy that no one really talked about in that freshman class, came off the bench, 7 points, 3 offensive rebounds in 11 minutes, provided a little bit of a spark. We don't know when any of those 3, Big Z, Aaron Bradshaw, Ogana Onyesa, we don't know when any of those guys are going to actually be back, right? We're waiting for an NCAA ruling on Big Z. Aaron Bradshaw is a 7-footer with a foot problem, which is never a good thing. And Onyesa, I think Cal said tonight, you have a couple, like 3 or 4 more weeks before he returns to practice, which probably gets you back to the first of the year at least until he gets back in the game. So Jordan Burke stepping in and being able to provide energy and make things happen on the offensive glass, I think is really big for Kentucky.
Yeah, just one last point on this, because I assume there's just the nature of Kentucky fans is there is a probably natural restlessness. I mean, it's been, quite some time since they made that Final Four run. So, Matt, I would just ask you sort of in terms of, what that fan base expects, what Kentucky has done, and you know how talented the roster is. So what does this team need to do? I mean, what is realistic for them in terms of ambition? I mean, should they just say, hey, we've got the talent, we can cut the nets down. We've always played this way. We've done it before. I mean, what's a realistic ambition for them with what they've got?
Well, I think the first thing is competing for an SEC championship. I mean, Kentucky for a number of years has always been the standard, and the league has gotten better. I mean, the league when you think of Tennessee, where Texas A&M's at right now, they may have the best player in the league on paper going into the season. You're still playing against Bruce Pearl every single night at Auburn. I mean,
Yep.
you look, I mean, it's just top to bottom. The league has gotten better. I think when Cal, first came into the league, it was kind of, hey, Florida and Kentucky, let's battle it out and let's see who's there. And it's not that way anymore. And I think first and foremost, it's can we compete for an SEC championship? I think they have the roster to be able to do that. Rob just brought up Dillingham. He did an unbelievable game tonight in only 19
Yep.
minutes. So those young guards and their development. And then if they do get one of these front court players back and back into the lineup, gives them some versatility. But I love the spacing on offense. I loved how they played tonight. But I think the first goal is competing for an SEC championship, getting that back for Kentucky, being at the highest level in the league. And then in the NCAA tournament, listen, I know Kentucky fans are fully expecting them to get out of the first round or first weekend. They're not happy with them losing in the first round. They're not happy with them losing in the second round. Shoot, are they ever happy? Are they happy with them losing in the Sweet 16? I don't know. Is it Final Four or bust? But I think competing for an SEC championship is first. And then what's their seed, higher seed, who are they playing, what's the matchup? But if they get one of these big guys back, it does gives them some versatility to be able to play different ways.